Okay. Okay. So let's see. How's this shaping up? This looks stable. It looks stable. Okay. Okay. I like the way that's looking. My computer hasn't blown up on me yet, so that's a good sign. Okay. Alright. On in. Roll on in. Okay. Here we go. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? We did it. 1K, 1K. Also, here's the beanie. I think you saw Mystical Me and Meanie making it in the background, like past videos, but here it is. Although I had dreads when they were making it, so kind of fits on my head like that now. But it still looks fire. I don't know. Actually, I look like a fucking recovering cancer patient with the big ass thing on. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Guess I'll just grow my hair back out again. But let's see. What is up, fellas? Yeah, no more dreads. I said dreads no more. They had to go. What's up, guys? Oh man, it's good to be back. We did it. It's 1K. We're over 1K actually. Is the camera super slow? No, the camera's actually alright. My internet's been not great, so I had to actually scale down my streaming capabilities. So I'm actually I'm streaming at like 30 FPS as opposed to 60 FPS. But I don't know. I'm trying to make it work. Congrats on 1K. Thank you, Tevya. I finally joined you in the sun. I know you've had like 1K for you hit the 1K mark like a while ago. The camera's not slow. I'm just going through the speed force. I am going through the speed force. The speed force of macro hard office. I don't know. That was cheesy. That was really bad. I haven't streamed in a while, so I'm not on my toes. But what's up, guys? Dude, we did it. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. Cause like YouTube's just not like a big. I don't know. It wasn't like it wasn't like a main thing for me. It was like a fun thing, and now it's like, you have 1K subscribers. I'm like, holy shit. Sweet. Oh man. Guys, this is crazy. Legitimately didn't think it was gonna happen. But yeah, here we are. I'm making videos. Y'all are watching them. We're streaming. Guys, this feels good. This feels really good. Um, well, shit. As promised, let's get the AMA up and running. I know you guys submitted a bunch of questions. So let me just pull them up. Actually, I deleted that tab. It's gone now, so I have to pull it back up. But I do have your pre-written questions here. Let's see. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. By the way, what have you guys been reading lately? Because, I mean, I've really been reading like a bunch of old stuff. Actually, have it right here. I've been going down the old school like black and white Marvel Essential Collection rabbit hole for Amazing Spider-Man. These are fun as hell. I love these, even though they're not in color. Like, you know, it gets the job done. Also, it beats paying twice as much for the Epic collections. Which I'm I'm not doing that. That's not happening. Marvel got me fucked up. But I will read those essential collections. They're really fun. You also get like a lot of bang for your buck. It's like 20 issues for like $15 to $16. That's like really not bad. Let's see. Yes, thank you. I have 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, YouTube. I appreciate that. Um, okay, here we go. All right, so first question actually comes from Emmanuel. I see you in the chat. What's up? When did you start reading comics? What's your favorite comic book at the moment? And what's your favorite comic book from each era? You know, like the Golden Age, Silver Age, blah, blah, blah. And what's your favorite comic book company at the moment? All right, so multi-pronged question, but I started reading comics when I was about like, I don't know, 8 years old. Maybe a little earlier than that. I remember when like my mom and I moved states, so we could be closer to my dad because my dad was working in a different state. One of the first things we did was we went to like a mall, and then they got me like one of those it was like Spider-Man action figures, and it came with like it was like a Steve Ditko model Spider-Man action figure, and it came with like a comic in the back because Marvel used to do that a lot. And I think I was like 6, and that's like really when I started reading comics, because I was like, oh, I like these because you get the action figure and you get a comic book with it. I thought that's just how you got comics for like the longest time. So I like keep asking my parents to get me those, and then they would be like, no, we'll just take you to like a comic book store, and like get you comic books that way. So yeah, it's probably about like 6 actually. When I started like reading comics, and then like my parents would give me like their comics. They're like, oh, you clearly like these. So really about 6, but like I don't actually like start reading comics, like following comics, until I'm about like 8. Like following comics in the way that I do now. I started doing that when I was 8. What's your favorite comic book at the moment? Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Shishetto. That book is scratching an itch that it's scratching an itch that hasn't been scratched in like literal decades at this point. So I fucks with it heavy. But I don't know. There's a lot out right now that's really good. I really like Venom, by Al Ewing, Ram V, and Brian Hitch. That's been great. I'm also really liking Immortal Thor, by Al Ewing. I am really enjoying World's Finest by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. That book is just it's meat and potato superhero stuff, you know, like what you expect from superhero comics. That's what that book is, and it's been consistently really fun every month. So yeah, those are like the consistent like books that I'm like following and enjoying. Although apparently Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on the Hulk is also fantastic, which I mean isn't really surprising. I read the first 3 issues and I love them. Comics are fucking expensive, man, so I'm just not gonna I can't break the bank every week on them, but I am gonna follow that book and trade. What is your favorite comic book from each era? Like, well, Golden Age, I think Superman is like I think Superman is like the best out of those Golden Age books. I just really think Superman's a character who Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they have a thesis, they got things to say, and they say that shit right out the gate, and it's perfect. It is the perfect superhero comic. When like you go back and read it, it's great. So Golden Age Superman. Superman's like my Golden Age pick for number 1. Silver Age is kind of tough because I really like the Flash, but I also think Silver Age Flash is like really fucking stupid. But I guess my favorite Silver Age comic would be like a toss up between, I don't know, Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four and Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, it's definitely a toss up between those two. Then you get to the Bronze Age. It doesn't last very long, but I really like Bronze Age Superman stuff. I think that's really good. No, fuck it, scratch that. Batman, because like the Dennis O'Neil era of Batman, like with Neil Adams and all that, and Brave and the Bold. Okay, yeah, no, that's my answer. Batman, Bronze Age belongs to Batman as far as I'm concerned. That's my final answer. There we go. That was easy. Modern Age, or I guess the 90s to the early 2000s is like the Platinum Age or the Diamond Age or something like that. What's my favorite comic in that era? I guess Hellboy. Hellboy or Hellblazer, like one of those two. Those are like, you know, like comics that like define the 80s and 90s. Or I guess in Hellblazer's case, the 80s, and Hellboy's case, the 90s and 2000s. But yeah, it's a toss up between one of those two. I guess also like Mark Miller's Ultimates, like with Brian Hitch. Like if that's like a Platinum Age, if that counts as Platinum Age, like late Platinum Age comics, then yeah, I like that a lot too. That's probably one of my favorites. But yeah, there's a lot there's like a lot that exploded between the 80s and the 2000s. But I think Hellboy, just in terms of like storytelling, Hellboy's up there. I really like Hellblazer. The problem is Hellblazer is spotty. I feel like Hellblazer is really good under Jamie Delano. Um, but like what we expect from that book, like what we sort of think of as like iconic Hellblazer, doesn't really come until like Garth Ennis. Um, it's kind of weird. It does sort of have that like Steve Ditko into John Romita, Spider-Man syndrome, where like the first like 40 or 50 something issues is like the iconic classic stuff, but like what we sort of consider to be classic with that character doesn't come until like the second run. But yeah, no, I really like Hellblazer. I don't know, that one's a little hard. Like Platinum Age is difficult. And then you get the Modern Age, and then I don't know, I guess like either Bendis's Daredevil or Grant Morrison's run on Batman. Either one of those two. Although I really like Grant Morrison's Action Comics. Like if you okay, and this is like a video that I'm cooking like right now, and I'm like really excited to like read more of it and like talk about it and really think about it more. But the New 52 Road on Action Comics is like really fucking good. Like it's really good. Oh man, I feel like such a dupe because for like a solid decade I was like, oh yeah, no, the Grant Morrison run is great until it gets weird. But no, when it gets weird, it's really fucking good. You almost have to read that book backwards for it to make sense. Almost, it's like incomprehensible, but like it's incomprehensible in a way that like it is intentionally incomprehensible. Like no, it makes perfect sense, even though it doesn't make sense. It's really good. I don't know. But now I'm rambling. But yeah, to your point, Emmanuel. My favorite Golden Age book is Superman. My favorite Silver Age book is Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. My favorite Bronze Age book is Batman. Platinum Age. I'm just gonna drive the nail in and say Hellboy. And favorite Modern Age book is probably Grant Morrison's run on Batman. So yeah, that's my definitive answer there. Let's see. What's your favorite comic book company at the moment? Afrofutures. Let's see. 94 Evangelion says also on Naruto display. Oh, you're fucking spoiling Naruto. All right, I'm skipping you. I haven't finished it. I like just started reading it. Don't spoil it for me. God damn it. John Ty's question. Have you watched the latest season of My Adventures with Superman? I loved the latest season, and in my opinion, it's better than season 1. I have watched it. I like it. I think it's better than season 1, although I still have the same problems with it. I think My Adventures with Superman, on a concept level, is my Superman. Like it is Golden Age Superman, like thematically, by way of the Silver and Bronze Age, just in terms of like the stakes and like the super technology and like the high concept fair and all that. So I like that a lot. I love Superman versus the military industrial complex. I love the story centering around Lois, Clark, and Jimmy trying to solve crimes and mysteries as a journalistic trio. I love all that shit. My only problem with it is that it's just so... The ghost of Zack Snyder is like clinging to this show's balls, and you can definitely tell that it's being made with this like Like there's a giant picture of Zack Snyder in the writer's room, and it's like, don't make it dark, don't make it edgy. We're scared of Superman being mean and angry, and like I feel like it is sort of suffering from like Snyder reaction syndrome, where like Superman can't get angry, you know, Superman can't be a little rough and tumble. Superman, oh, and hi guys, I can do without that. You know, I'm okay with Superman having a little more bass. I'm okay with Superman playing a little rough with people. I don't need Superman to like be Deku, in which he like apologizes to someone for punching them. Like I don't need that. And also I don't know, just like it's very cutesy in a way where like it wants to tackle like some like certain mature themes and subject matter, but also it does it in a way that's like very like childish, to the point where I'm like, well then maybe don't do that subject matter if you're gonna kind of take the out of it of I don't know. I feel like some of the writing was a bit more mature with Superman the Animated Series, which is sort of ironic because I like this show conceptually more than Superman the Animated Series. But I don't know, that's where I'm at with the show. I want to love it. That's my big thing. I want to love it because like on paper so much of it is what I want from Superman, but just a lot of it I don't think is that great. Or at least a lot of it just falls short for me. What is up, Supremo Meg? Glad to have you by. Let's see. Let's jump to the next question. Alright. Well, this is also from John Ty. Damn, this is a long one. I gotta activate my inner porn star in just one breath. Do you feel like superhero stories have this pendulum swing of reactions, be it comics, TV shows, or movies, to how it's written? The criticism of is too edgy or too safe. Oh, we were just talking about this actually. If sometimes I feel like when it comes to the fan reaction to superhero stories, there's no middle ground to this perspective. Anytime there are superheroes going through any types of hardships in a story where you have any type of interpersonal character drama, all of a sudden it gets talked about as if it's just trauma porn. And being too edgy, you know, I find calling this trauma porn or too edgy very odd. It always feels like one extreme or the other when it comes to this type of discussion. I 100% agree. Which, you know, I guess springboarding off of like some of my issues with like my adventures with Superman, I definitely feel like that is the case with like Superman, for example. And I'm just trying to think like what other characters have this like glaring problem. Spider-Man sort of has this problem. Maybe not in like a reactionary kind of direction from the fans, but definitely an editorial. I feel like every new Spider-Man creative team is approached with the perspective of, okay, so we broke Spider-Man, but like we need someone to fix it. And then this new creative team fixes Spider-Man, but then they like they take the character in like a weird direction, and then that team is fired, and then they're replaced with another team. You gotta fix Spider-Man. That seems to be a constant with that character since like the mid '90s. But I don't know, I'm trying to think of like examples for like what you're talking about in terms of like things being too edgy, too safe. You know what? Actually, perfect example. DC Comics in like the 80s and 90s is like very edgy. You know, like if you look at like DC Comics from like the Silver Age into the Bronze Age, you get to like the 90s, or I guess like the late 80s into the 90s. DC does sort of like harden up, and they do get a little more extreme. Maybe not in like a parodic sense. At least I don't think it's in a parodic sense. Nowhere near as bad as certain corners of Marvel and Image, but like, you know, is an air of like grimness to like the 90s with DC, and then you get to the 2000s, and then everything brightens the fuck up immediately, except for Batman. But everything brightens the fuck up immediately. Like that Superman book by like Jeff Loeb, like Superman by Jeff Loeb and Joe Kelly and Joe Casey. You know, the City of Tomorrow era is a stark contrast with what was coming out prior. Like it like we damn near went from like 90s sort of like hard edge material back to like a Silver Age sort of. Alright, looks like I lost y'all for a second. Damn. Alright, we still here? Looks like we're still here. Okay, we're back. We're back, and it says excellent connection. So, I think we're alright. It should be alright. Alright. Looks good to me. Look good to you? Alright, looks like we're good. Okay. Alright, so this comes from Spader2692. What are your thoughts on Machine Man, Aquaman, Creature King from the New 52, and Max Immortal? I like Machine Man a lot in Earth X. Outside of that, I don't know a damn thing about him. I like Aquaman a lot. I think he's very underrated. I don't know what the deal with like him is, unfortunately. Like I feel like he has enough. There are enough like here's where to start with Aquaman. I feel like there were enough of those already. And still he just doesn't catch on with people. So I don't know what else DC can do with him. But I think Aquaman's like really cool. Don't know anything about Creature King. And I know of Max Immortal, I think, if we're thinking about the same person, or I guess same character, but no opinions. Hicks 299 says, or asked, why are superhero comics, specifically American ones, focus on interpersonal drama by using cuckoldry as conflict or tension, especially when it comes to male superheroes? I'm reading Birds of Prey by Gail Simone, and it is a superhero chick lit without the plot devices mentioned above. I don't know. Best answer I got, writers in general are like very insecure people, and a lot of male comic book writers are very insecure and also fetishists. Uh, but also, I don't know. It's just like, it's cheap drama. You know, I could go on and on about like the psychology of the writer and like the blah blah blah. But like, it's cheap drama. You know. Oh no, my girlfriend got fucked by a guy with a bigger dick than me. Oh, she's fucking him right now. It's drama. That's what it is. It's drama. It's tension. It's very Stan Lee. You know. In fact, that is like literally 90% of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and John Romita's Spider-Man. It's just, oh no, I like this girl. Oh, but Ned Leeds is he jumped in with his dick. He's fucking Betty Brant now. I was gonna fuck Betty Brant, but I was fucking Betty Brant. Now I'm sad. Or like Peter is like walking home with like a broken arm because he just fought like the Lizard, and then he sees MJ in the car with Harry, and he's like, "Oh no, she's sucking Harry's dick. She was gonna suck my dick." No, it's just drama. That's all it is. And yeah. there's no real deep philosophical answer to that, or maybe there is. But the immediate answer is just drama. John Ty asks, what does the phrase "I want classic superhero stories again" even mean? I keep hearing this all the time from fans who don't like the direction or the run of a new publishing line that the big two are doing. It feels like an empty phrase and ill-defined. There is so much classic characterization that are different from one another. What the fuck is classic superhero storytelling? Is it going back to Golden Age characterizations? Classic, or is it going back to Silver Age characterization of classic? Is it going back to Bronze Age, blah blah blah, going back to 80s, blah blah blah? That's just code for I want it to go back to the way it was when I was a kid. Or at the very least, I want it to go back to how I remember things when I was a kid. That's what they mean. It's literally just like when people say, I want music to be like it was back in my day when there wasn't cursing and blah blah blah, and then you pull up like a song from like the 20s, and it's it's like saying every slur in the book. But like, you know, people who like are so hyper fixated on like the past, they're not looking at like an actual. They're not looking at the past objectively. They're looking at the past through like their own like nostalgia, and that's what's deemed classic. That's really what that means. That's all that is. It's not too deep. Would you be interested in checking out Bleach? Yes. Tentatively, I'll get to it. The big hurdle with wanting to jump into Bleach is that there are a lot of people who recommend it who say everything up until like the middle is great, and then you can just like skip the end. Or there's the other camp of people who are like, everything up to like the middle, which is I guess like 100 issues, or I guess 100 chapters. They're like, yeah, the first 100 chapters is trash. Just skip all that bullshit and read everything from after that point. And it's like, oh god, I don't want to have to read fucking like 300. I don't want to read 300 chapters of Bleach and only like maybe half of it. I I don't want to do that. But I don't know. I will at some point, you know. Like, I'm reading Naruto right now. It took me fucking forever to actually get into that. So, you know, Um, to me, the manga is my favorite of the big three. It's better than Naruto, but don't tell Naruto fans that. Um, and the creator of Bleach can actually write women. Well, there's a lot of mangaka that have that problem. Yo, what is up, Arcus? Hey, how you doing? Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm at 1K. I damn, we hit a milestone, bro. Um, this is insane. Thanks for getting me here, guys. Um, but yeah, those are like all the pre-written questions. Let's see what's in the chats that I missed. Um, how we feel Ultimate Spider-Man being great. I think it's awesome. It's definitely not going to affect the Amazing Spider-Man title at all, but it's really cool that Ultimate Spider-Man is doing exactly what it's doing. Let's see. Question: any favorite X-Men and Spider-Man and Superman comics from the decades? Like, okay. I guess like the Golden Age stuff for Superman. I really like the introduction of Lex Luthor, where he's like a scorched earther. I think that's really good. So I guess that's 40s, 50s. I guess the first Prince of Brainiac is really interesting. I read that in the DC's collections where it's like Superman in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And in that one issue, they like make it abundantly clear that Brainiac shows up once every 100 years. And that nigga showing up like 1,000 times since then. So like I don't know how they sort of like circumnavigated that, or if that's just like a plot point that's just dropped for later issues. But that Brainiac issue is really cool in the 60s, or I guess 50s. I don't think I've read a 60s era Superman comic. My favorite 70s era Superman comic is the one where Lois Lane makes herself a black woman. That's fucking great. I love that shit. Let's see. My favorite 80s Superman comic is... Oh, shit. That was close. I like I like the what's it called? It's the original War World Saga when Superman's wearing that like gladiator outfit. I actually got that signed too by Jerry Ordway. That was really cool. But yeah, I like that storyline a lot. That's like just after John Byrne's run ends. And Superman's depressed because he killed General Zod and all those other Kryptonians, so he's like going into exile. So that's a really cool storyline. 90s. Death of Superman's definitely the biggest story in the 90s. I'm not sure I'd say it's my favorite or like the best, but you know, Superman Where Is Thy Sting? That's a really good 90s Superman comic. It's like 80 pages. It's really good. I like it. 2000s Ending Battle. 2010s Grant Morrison's Action Comics from the New 52. And 2020s is the War World Saga by Philip Kennedy Johnson. What were the other books from the decades? I should have had it marked. There we go. Spider-Man Spider-Man's hard to chart through the decades because really up until like the end of the Clone Saga, Spider-Man is just like one story. So that's kind of hard to track. um so I guess all of it. I don't know. And X-Men's gonna be easy. I like Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men in the 2000s. Outside of that, I'm not a big X-Men guy, so I can't really speak to it. 1610 says Deadpool and Wolverine equals Kevin Feige quote, "You're not coming to the MCU, bruh." Yeah. That's kind of cool that they did that with the Fox universe. That movie's like a really like charming and cute uh like love letter to like the Fox Marvel era. Um yeah, I thought it was really cool. Uh Thoughts on new creative teams for DC's mainline books? Uh, Shit. Who are the new creative teams for DC's mainline books? Um, all right, let's find out. I know a lot of these guys were like announced at Comic Con. And I wanted to do like a Comic Con stream, but like, um, I was just like super busy, so I wasn't able to like actually do it. But let's see. All right, so Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez are still on Batman, so you know that's cool, I guess. At this point with that book, I'm just gonna like wait to read it all in trade because the week to week, I guess, or month to month, just after Bruce Wayne got back from that alternate universe, the book just sort of for me. Um, so let's see. Tom Taylor is gonna do Batman or Detective Comics. That's a pass for me. But Mikel Eady is gonna do the art, so that's really cool. Um, Mark Waid and Clayton Henry are gonna do Action Comics. That's awesome. Oh, and that's the what's his fuck from Grant Morrison. Well, yeah. I mean, some of those creative teams don't instill much confidence, but like, you know, some of them do, and that's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give them a shot. Um, Still looks better than what's coming out of Absolute DC because that just looks like an absolute nightmare. Uh, 16 Cents says Deadpool and Wolverine commentary on post Endgame MCU and fans obsessed with faithful adaptations. Um, hmm. I don't see that as much as I see like a movie hinged on it like the TVA is being used as an allegory for the MCU, or I guess Disney in this case. Like the main MCU timeline, which is called 616 for I don't know why, but I hate that so much. But like the main MCU timeline is called the Sacred Timeline by the TVA, and everything else that's not that is like seen as bullshit. I don't know. that movie feels less like it's a commentary on fans than like it's a commentary on Disney cannibalizing another film studio and then like dividing their assets. That's how it reads to me. Question: with Deadpool and Wolverine being a success and beating DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths animated movie, do you think DC should copy? Fuck no. No, they shouldn't. Also, I'm tired of multiverse like stuff. There are more things to do with superheroes than just like play around in the multiverse. I don't know. What is up, Supreme? How you doing, buddy? So he says, any opinion on Tomorrowverse being over? Thank fucking God. Can we please just go back? Can we stop doing like a shared connected universe thing? I don't need a connected universe for DC animated movies. Just make cool adaptations of comics with unique art styles that mimic the comics that they are adapting. For the love of God, please. Like, make a Superman for All Seasons movie. I don't even like that comic that much, but like, make a Superman for All Seasons movie and just have it mimic the Tim Sale art, please. You know, make a what else we got over here? Make a Young Justice comic, or I guess a movie based on the first issue of that, or not first issue, first arc of that comic, and have it like imitate that art style. Fucking adapt Superman ending battle. You know, just do that. And like do it like a sort of like funky sort of like cell shaded kind of thing. I don't know, just but don't do the interconnected bullshit. Like, stop with that. Stop trying to be the MCU. DC animated films, stop trying to be the MCU. Please. Disney says, fans, we want faithful adaptations, continuity, shared universe, and hate multiverse, alternate realities, but also fans want unique standalone stories set in different universes. I mean, you talking about me? I don't know, like for movies and stuff like that. As far as like films are concerned, I literally just want, well, to your point about like comic book accuracy, I think there are broad strokes that need to get hit for certain characters, whereas other characters are like very strict and stringent. Like, for example, Superman. I think every Superman adaptation we've had is like pretty good. But Superman's a broad character. Like, literally, the details of that character's mythos are so fucking varied. Like, at this point, all you really need to honor are, like, okay, like, Dune Planet, Desperate Scientists, Last Hope, Kindly Couple, like, red and blue bodysuit, and then guy wants to help people. He helps people because he thinks it's the right thing to do. That's Superman. Anything else in between that is just sort of like, it's up to, your mileage may vary, which is fundamentally different from, say, a character like Wolverine, who does have like a very like streamlined history and continuity. Oh, up until a point, but like that character is written like a very specific way. So I do understand like why X-Men fans don't like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, or I guess X-Men comic fans, they don't like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, because he's just not really Wolverine. He's Hollywood Wolverine, but he's not really Wolverine. So I don't know. I get it. You know. I also sometimes think the like, well, we're doing a different take because it's based on this. Like, there are different realities, and this one time Thor was a frog, and there's the Ultimate Universe. I feel like that argument sometimes is disingenuous, because even if you are like adapting characters to a different medium and you're using inspiration from different sources, okay, then use that inspiration as a source, but don't say you're gonna use that inspiration and like it's all superficial. You didn't actually do anything with that take on the character. You just sort of hollowed out that character and sort of put in an OC, and then said it was Ultimate Spider-Man. You know, like, no, we're adapting Ultimate Spider-Man, even though it's literally just Spider-Man, but he's 15 years old and he's hanging out with Iron Man. Like, I don't know. That argument always kind of felt disingenuous to me, but I don't know. It is what it is. Does shipping drama in fandom annoy you? No, because I also perpetuate it sometimes. I gotta be self-aware a little bit, you know. I can't harp on a problem that I am also part of. So direct your anger towards me, because I am that motherfucker. Do you think DC's new universe, or what do you think of DC's new universe? And do you think it will fail? I hope it doesn't fail, because I don't like when comics fail. But I'm not really looking forward to it. Absolute DC just feels like some absolute bullshit. I'm sorry. That's like the best way I can put it. It doesn't look good. It just kind of looks like crap. Jason Aaron's gonna have like an emotionally detached Superman fighting an army of Peacemaker. No. Just throw the whole universe away. Get rid of it. No. Kelly Thompson's like whole thing where Wonder Woman is literally just Big Barda. No, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in that. Sorry, it doesn't look cool to me. Fans always complain about status quos and alienating audiences, but they still consume and complain. Well, this is where the internet is different from real life. Because I did work in a comic book store for a long time. You will see people complaining about like a status quo, and it seems like it's a lot of people, but in actuality, the readership just sort of dropped off and didn't pick up the book ever again after that. You know, that's where like that is like a perfect example of Twitter is not the real world, or YouTube is not the real world. You know, people will complain about stuff all the time, and people will praise things all the time, but what is praised and what is complained about doesn't always match up with sales, and that's just the reality. Um, Starting in comics, just pick a writer. I agree. Um, Gail and her talking refrigerators. I think you mean dishwashers. Although it's weird that Major Force was able to fit a dishwasher inside a refrigerator. Um, Fuck, I'm gonna go to hell for that one. Um, Supreme Omega says if Naruto was in Gohan. Wow, that's we went on the spicy side of the internet today. But if Naruto was in Gotham, he would forgive the Joker. Probably. Hell, he would forgive all the Rogues Gallery. As long as you have a sad backstory, Naruto will forgive you. Damn. That just sounds like my adventures with Superman. Toby says, question, why do you think Spider-Man editorial is so bad and wants their main ASM book to not do as well? I mean, we went over this before. That's not the case. A lot of it is just spite. You know, there are, quite frankly, just a lot of editors working at Marvel Comics right now, and not just at Marvel, mind you. There are editors in DC, Boom Studios, blah blah blah, everywhere, who just sort of, but like specifically at Marvel, and Marvel has this like really hard too, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but like, it's just spite, it's just anger and spite. On top of that, just Marvel has operated with this like sense of like arrogance and pride. Like Marvel Comics is like a company 100% buys into their own hype and believe that they can do nothing wrong. So when people react poorly, well, obviously it's not Marvel's fault. It's the fans who are out of touch. They don't know what the fuck they want. They're stupid. So you know what? Fuck it. You like this thing? Well, then we're gonna double down on the thing that you say you don't like, because fuck you. And you're still gonna buy it, piece of shit. Even though that's not the case. Very clearly not the case. I've seen those numbers. It is not the case at all. But that's really just what it is. That's what it boils down to. Emmanuel says, if I'm being honest, I do feel like there's a stark contrast between comic book storytelling and different eras. For instance, Marvel in the 2000s is very different from current era Marvel. Absolutely. And I... Oh, dude. So, like, last month, I ended up going to Universal Studios, and I saw that stark contrast. Like, holy shit, I saw that stark contrast. Because Universal Studios is really cool. And specifically, like, the Marvel Land part of Islands of Adventure is really fucking cool. Especially compared to Disney's. What a goddamn shame that is. But, yeah, Universal Studios just sort of... That shit just feels like classic Marvel. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's just Marvel. You know? Like you enter that section of the park and you're immediately greeted with the Fantastic Four Cafe, and then you go to like the Incredible Hulk ride, and then there's like the Storm like teacup ride, and then over onto the right side of the park, you know, you got like the Doom Tower drop and all this other shit. And like the Avengers are very much in the background. Like no one gives a fuck about the Avengers. It's all about Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Spider-Man, and the Hulk and Wolverine. Wolverine's like, they were like Alvin or Alan Silvestri. Is Alan Silvestri? Alvin Silvestri? Yeah, Silvestri. They're like these Silvestri portraits of the X-Men just all around the park. And they're fighting MODOK and Magneto. And like it just feels like Marvel. And then you go inside the comic book stores, because it's Universal Studios and not Disney World, where they don't give a fuck about Marvel Comics. But you go inside the comic book stores at Universal Studios, and then you just get all this like post MCU, like hyper synergized, kind of safe, sanitized era Marvel Comics. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? What is this? Why the fuck do you have Star-Lord front and center in this goddamn Marvel store? Get this shit out of here. I don't care about Star-Lord. Give me Wolverine. But yeah, no, there is definitely a stark contrast between Marvel now and Marvel from like the 90s and 2000s. Sony's Bleach adaptation, edgy tennis nerds with swords versus demons who just wanted to get laid, but the problem is tomorrow. That actually sounds not bad, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that probably doesn't sound like Bleach at all to anyone who cares about Bleach, but like, that honestly doesn't sound that bad. Actually, aside from the tennis part, that doesn't sound that far off from like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like you could kind of, if there was an Americanized version of Jujutsu Kaisen, I could also see that just being an American adaptation, like Netflix's Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah. The Return of Superman, an epic convoluted mess. Yeah. Probably should have just kept him dead. Or, and this is just my idea, or they could have done a thing where they just pull a version of Superman from the multiverse and just say, well, you're replaced now. We replaced Superman. I don't know. That way you get to actually say Superman died, but then you just replace him with a new guy. Oh well, whatever. And no, I didn't steal that idea from Deadpool and Wolverine. I've said that in an earlier stream like months ago, or maybe years ago at this point. So no, I've had that idea for a while. I definitely think that could have happened. But I digress. Lin Wein Spider-Man mid as fuck. Yeah. I'm actually gonna do a video on like how to read Spider-Man at some point in time in the near future. Because it's not, I don't know. I have a whole thing with Spider-Man. I feel like you can skip around a lot. And I say this as someone who, I love Spider-Man. I love that character. I love that mythos. I think a lot of Spider-Man comics are really great. Obviously, you know, actually you can't really see it on this bookshelf, but, because of the way it's set up, but most of that bookshelf is Spider-Man. Like, a solid, like, a solid 20% of that bookshelf is just dedicated to Spider-Man. But, yeah, I feel like you only, okay, if we're being, like, really sort of, like, conservative here, you just have to read, like, the first, like 50 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, and then read Death of Gwen Stacy, and then, like, skip to Kraven's Last Hunt. And if you want to, you can read The Birth of Venom and some of that stuff. And then you can read the J. Michael Straczynski like 2000s era comics, um, and just, you can read up to issue like 500, and then you can just stop there, and then boom, you've read everything you need to read with Spider-Man in just like what, 6 trades or 7 trades, like that's it. You don't have to read a lot of Spider-Man to get Spider-Man, I think. And yeah, that Len Wein stuff, I love Len Wein, but Jesus, Len Wein, Dennis O'Neil, I don't think is a great Spider-Man writer. Like, he's a great Batman writer. He's really good on a lot of that stuff. Um, but like Spider-Man, the 70s is a rough decade for Spider-Man, and then he recovers in the 80s, and then the 90s is like, or I guess yeah, like, yeah, 60s is great, 70s is rough, 80s is great, 90s is rough, 2000s is great, the 2010s are rough, and then we get to the 2020s where effectively I just kind of have written off Amazing Spider-Man at this point, but you know, then it's sort of weird. I wonder if Joe Kelly's gonna be the one who like keeps the cycle going with, like, you know, Amazing Spider-Man being a dynamite comic of the 2020s decade, because the 2010s were just absolute ass. We need Peter J. Tomasi on Spider-Man. I don't know. Tomasi is good at doing like the meat and potatoes like Superman stories, and that's what really like helped that character during Rebirth. But I don't know if like Superman and Spider-Man are like fundamentally like very different characters, so they need different things, and I don't think what works for Superman will work for Spider-Man by default. Of, you know, well, Superman is the titular character of DC, so obviously this DC titular guy wrote a titular Superman there, so he's gonna do a titular Spider-Man for the titular Marvel character. I don't think that's how that works, and I don't think it's gonna work that way. You know who I think would do a really fucking good Spider-Man book though? Donny Cates. I think Donny Cates would make an amazing Spider-Man comic. Will Marvel do that? Fuck no. But like, I think Donny Cates would be the guy to do an Amazing Spider-Man book. Especially if Marvel wants to break out of the cycle of just rehashing Brand New Day era writers. Just a thought. Yeah, the Kevin Smith. Ooh, yeah. The Evil That Men Do. Yeah. Yeah. I read the fuck out of that book when I was a kid, though. Ram V on New Gods. Yeah, oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, no, Ram V is gonna be on New Gods, and that's gonna be like one of the greatest fucking things ever. Like, oh my god. Holy shit. I remember Ram V announced that they were leaving Venom, and I was like so sad. And then I found out this is the reason why, and I was like, okay, never mind. I am A-okay with sacrificing Venom for the New Gods. I'm okay with that. That's cool. Jeff Lemire writing JSA. I only care in as much that it's Jeff Lemire doing it, but I don't really care about the JSA, if I'm gonna be honest. I want to, but I just generally I don't. Superhero stories should go back to standalone stories and fuck continuity. Like in general, or just like for, I don't know, like we do get a lot of like standalone superhero comics. Like I don't know. There's a lot out there if you don't like the continuity. Quite question: do you think now the crisis is over, do you think we're gonna do universe? I hope not. I really hope not. Interconnected continuity equals meaningless homework. I I disagree. I think it's meaningless homework in cases where the stories are not being written well. But I don't think it's meaningless homework when you have like really good fucking stories. Like, for example, Daredevil is a character who I think is strengthened by their continuity. Like, I don't think you get that really solid issue of Bendis and Maleev's run on Daredevil where the FBI are like piecing together random bits and random events throughout Daredevil's history to try and connect the dots to see whether or not it makes sense for Matt Murdock to be Daredevil. And they're like, okay, so like, you know, there's this whole thing with Matt Murdock went traveling, and then well, I guess the Fantastic Four, they had a run-in with Electro, but Matt Murdock was their lawyer, and then blah blah blah, and then you know you also have like Electra Nachio. She was working for the Kingpin, and then she gets killed by Bullseye, who's another assassin, and then she crawls up on Matt Murdock's doorstep. But also there's the whole thing with Mike Murdock. Like, I don't think you get like that stuff is really compelling, and it's really cool to have like that sort of like that, to have that history sort of like back you up when it comes to that like type of storytelling. So like it works really well in that case. It works really well when you look at Grant Morrison's run on Batman, you know, and that's a case where I feel like Morrison is taking continuity that they don't like and retroactively making it work, like framing everything from the Killing Joke up through OMAC Project and Infinite Crisis as Bruce Wayne having a midlife crisis immediately makes a lot of those stories just 1,000 times better. And in some cases, like, actually readable. Like, reading Hush as Bruce just having a midlife crisis and, like, he's just... His psyche is broken because of years and years of just trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. I think that works really well, too. So no, I think continuity is like great when utilized properly. You just have to have a writer who's passionate about the character and passionate about the continuity to do it. And I hear a lot of people say the same thing about Jonathan Hickman's House of X and Powers of 10. I know Eric from when they used to be on Geekvolution. Eric and Captain Logan did a video about that book when it came out, and they were like, no, this is great if you're like just jumping into the X-Men, but also if you have a history with the X-Men, all the continuity stuff is great, and it's like so rewarding. So no, I think continuity is awesome when utilized well. Adapt Superman Earth 1 as an animated Superman movie trilogy. Yeah, that could work. I mean, it's literally just Man of Steel, but like, yeah, that could work. It's literally just Man of Steel and the Superman scenes from BVS. That we already kind of have it as a live action movie. I feel like it would be kind of redundant to do it as a animated film trilogy now, but you know, it's cool. At least Josh Trank was honest. It's not based on the comics, yo. Kind of. It's weird. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four like Four Stick is like such a frustrating movie for me because on the one hand, it is sort of like doing its own thing, like aesthetically and superficially, but like on the other hand, it is very much pulling from like the Stan Lee and Steve Ditko era, like Fantastic Four books, and also like Mark Miller and I think Adam Kubert's run on Ultimate Fantastic Four, or it might have been Mark Bagley. I think Mark Bagley did Ultimate Fantastic Four. I can't remember. But yeah, no, the like all the stuff with like Reed and Ben being like childhood friends, that's from Ultimate Fantastic Four. In fact, they like straight up adapt like the first like 2 or 3 issues of that comic in that movie. Also, the whole plot point with Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny getting their powers because NASA is like, you don't get to run this mission even though you built all the equipment for it. And they're like, fuck you, we're gonna do it anyways. And then they just go off and they literally hijack this this like military like expedition equipment, and they go on their journey and they fuck up and they get powers because they weren't running a safe operation. They're just doing it as like a middle finger to NASA. That is literally the first issue of Fantastic Four. That's in the first issue of Fantastic Four, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty sure that. But yeah, I read that in the omnibus because I have the omnibus down there. I read that and I was like, oh, this is straight up like what the movie did. Like, I don't know. There's also the body horror stuff. That is straight out of Ultimate Fantastic Four. And like the Fantastic Four being like treated as like military like a military operation. That's Ultimate Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know. There's some cool stuff there. And I think the movie itself is like trash, and I don't think the ideas that I sort of latched onto and sort of liked make it a good movie. But the foundation was sort of set. I like the cast. I still wish we got to see like T.J. Miller's Deadpool 2 with the Fantastic Four, because that originally was supposed to be a Deadpool Fantastic Four team up movie. So I kind of wish we got to see that, but you know, oh well. Question: will this new universe crossover with the main universe? What's this Absolute DC? I don't know. It's probably gonna tie in. I don't care. I literally don't care. I'm not interested. So I don't care. Grounded stories or heightened stories? I like either, as long as the anchor, like the narrative anchor, is like some sort of like interpersonal, like the stakes are like personal and interpersonal. Kind of like how like Deadpool and Wolverine is like a big multiversal like sort of odyssey, but at the core it is Wade Wilson trying to get back home and save his like he's trying to like save his like family, like 9 people. You know, I like that. Yeah. Grounded adaptation of Old Man Logan is just Logan. Yeah, and I like it a lot. Grounded Superman, a Golden Age Superman. Yep, and I think a Golden Age Superman would work in today's age, like right now. Like, I think a Golden Age Superman is like more relevant now than he's ever really been. um, if you were to be the next writer for Superman after Williams' run, what would you write, and why would it just be using Golden Age plots? Oof, you called it. I wouldn't really be using Golden Age plots, but I would use a lot of Golden Age characters that have been forgotten about. And some Silver Age characters. The best way that I can put it is it would be very much if I got to do Superman, like with the status quo that character has like right now, it would look kind of like Grant Morrison's Batman. That's what I would be going for. Grant Morrison's Batman, Bendis's Daredevil, you know, the Jeff Johns run on the Flash. That is kind of like the approach I'd take with that character if I got to do Superman. See, Supreme says how I describe Bleach. It's Evangelion meets Battle Shonen manga. Traumatized teens with sad backstories suffering from even more trauma throughout the series. Well, why the fuck didn't you just say so? I'm down. I love watching teens get traumatized. Why do you think I work in retail? Grounded Fantastic Four equals working class family versus corporate doom. I can see that. You know something I guess this is a hot take. I don't mind the Doctor Doom interpretation from the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies. In fact, I think it is more relevant to today's world than it even was in 2005. Because think about it, like Victor Von Doom is like the heir to this like royal bloodline from like a backwater country that he just doesn't care about anymore. So in an age where countries don't really exist, like everything is sort of like ruled through like corporate feudalism, and like nations answer to corporations. Yeah, having Doctor Doom be like the biggest, like having Doctor Doom basically be Bill Gates, it's a stroke of genius. I think having Doctor Doom just be like this evil CEO of a company that just will always get off scot-free regardless of whatever the charges are. I think that's perfect. And he's working out of like Latveria. That makes perfect sense. I like it a lot. I think it's a really good idea. Classic Marvel. Nobody cares about the Avengers. Am I wrong? You know? Any opinion on the Fantastic Four movie coming out next year? I am excited for the I am really excited for the Michael Giacchino score. And I like the cast a lot. Outside of that, I don't like the idea of this being a period piece set in the 60s. That's just an ick that I have in general with like Fantastic Four. So many people, and they have this fucking like, they have this look in their eyes like they're the goddamn geniuses. They think they're goddamn geniuses for coming up with this idea of like, well, the Fantastic Four is like an antiquated 60s concept. Therefore, the best way to make a Fantastic Four movie is to set it in the 60s. And it's like, no, dipshit. Like, we don't put Spider-Man movies in the 60s, and Spider-Man is very much a 60s and 70s era character. Just go read those comics that you've never read. Like, but we don't do that with Spider-Man. We put him in the here and now, and it's fine. Iron Man is 100% tied to the 1960s. Like, 100% absolutely tied to the 1960s. Like, it is all about Vietnam. Like, it's all about the Cold War. Like, but the Iron Man movies are set in, like, modern day, and no one has a problem with it. So why can't we just do that with the Fantastic Four? Why do we have to put the Fantastic Four in the 60s? Like, I don't know. I hated that whole fan theory, like, fan casting for a plot idea, and I don't like that Marvel's actually, like, following through with it. I don't need the Fantastic Four to be, like, the first family of, like, the 1960s. I don't need it. I don't like it. But anything's possible. And now that Marvel's, like, really leaning into, like, the multiverse, it would actually be pretty interesting to see if this movie is largely standalone. I think that would be really kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know. I am interested in seeing the new Fantastic Four movie. It literally cannot be worse than what we've gotten. it can't. And that's coming from someone who likes the Tim Story movies. Like, I think they're fine. But we can definitely get better. MCU equals B-list leftovers after bad movie deals. True. John Ty says, why did Clark Kent's background of being a journalist mean nothing to the plots anymore? Because, I don't know. Why are you asking me? Ask the comic book writers. I would like there to be, like, a tighter focus on journalism with Superman, because I think that's a very interesting concept. You know, a superhero who is literally like a god tier level hero. They dedicate, like, most of their life to the power of the pen as opposed to acting as the sword. I think that's a really cool idea, and I wish more writers would focus on that. Grant Morrison did in that New 52 Action Comics run. So if you want more of that, I would definitely check that out. Emmanuel says, between the base concepts of the New 52 and the absolute universe, which would you rather have as an ultimate style universe? New 52. 1610 says, if the MCU had rights to from the beginning, Avengers team would be Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, Fantastic Four, and they'd be the big seven of the Marvel Universe. That definitely would have been the case. Actually, that kind of reminds me. Did you guys ever hear about that proposed Civil War adaptation that Fox wanted to do, where it was the Fantastic Four as, like, the pro-registration side, and the X-Men were the anti-registration side, and it would have ended with them having to fight like a mutant Osama bin Laden or whatever the fuck. I forgot how that movie was supposed to end, or, like, what the plot details were, but, like, yeah, the overall thing was, like, the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men, and that would have been, like, the Fox take on Civil War. I think that personally could have been really interesting, but I don't know. It wouldn't have been Civil War, but they would have called it Civil War. And it would have been like, what the fuck? This is nothing. There is no Captain America, and there is no Iron Man here. Why is it called Civil War? Do you think Marvel should just have Miles be the main Spider-Man while Peter retires? At this point, I wouldn't mind if Marvel killed off Peter. You open the new Amazing Spider-Man book with like you see a spider walking across this a patch of dirt, some freshly packed dirt, and then it gets dripped on, and then the spider looks up and you see a tombstone of it says "Here lies Peter Parker," and then MJ's just bent over getting railed by Paul, and she squirts and she's like, "I've never came like this to Peter." And it's like, well, anyways, that's the end of Amazing Spider-Man. Here's Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. And then we just do Miles Morales stories. I'm alright with that. At this point, just get rid of Peter Parker altogether and just do Miles. Just rip off the Band-Aid. Just get rid of Peter Parker at this point. That's where I'm at with Spider-Man. Or at least 616 Spider-Man. Yeah, JMS is amazing. I think the first everything up to issue 500 is like legitimately fantastic, and I like some of the stuff afterwards too. I mean, your mileage may vary, but you know, I like the stuff with Peter's former like high school classmate, who like had the knife, and then Uncle Ben found it, and then his life sort of got fucked up after that, and like he got like encased in vibranium. I think all that's pretty cool. I think some of the early stuff with Spider-Man hanging out with the Avengers is really cool, especially when he's getting when MJ's being tailed by that TMZ guy and the Parkers are being blackmailed. I think that's an interesting idea. Yeah. Is pre-Frank Miller Daredevil worth reading? Yes. If you care to read it. I like it personally, but it is that thing where people often accuse Daredevil as being a poor man's Spider-Man before Frank Miller, and they're like 100% right. So, I mean, a lot of it's really fun. You know, I really like the Black Widow Daredevil stuff. You know, I think the 60s stuff with Stan Lee's great too. So if you can get your hands on it, like, definitely check it out. Marvel started putting out these like little... Marvel started putting these out. What are these called? The Mighty Masterworks. And they're not that expensive either. They're like, this is like $16. So, yeah, just pick up like the Mighty Marvel Masterworks of Daredevil, and I'd say read these if you want to check out some like older Marvel Daredevil stuff. I will say it's goofy as fuck. You can tell that like the rules, like the D&D style rules of the Marvel Universe that really come from like the shooter era from like the 80s. We're not there yet with this. Here it's like Daredevil fights Electro, and then he fights Purple Man, and then he gets into a fight with Namor the Submariner. Yeah. Early Marvel is very clearly just not ironed out all the way yet, but no, it's still really fun. I like it a lot. I definitely recommend it. Which MCU movie do you guys think is objectively the best, even if it's not your favorite? Also, which would be your MCU top 5? What's up, Nestor? Well, I guess objectively, Iron Man 3. I have problems with it personally, but as a movie, it is a really, really good superhero movie. Um, so Iron Man 3, Captain America Winter Soldier, definitely. That's two. Uh, The Eternals. That's a really good movie, and I like that movie a lot too. But like it's a really good film. So The Eternals. Um, The Incredible Hulk. And actually, yeah. Uh, the first Black Panther movie. Those are all like I think those are like the top five Marvel films, or I guess MCU films. Um, Donny Cates on Spider Man, Cosmic Spider Gods. Honestly, like yeah, Donny Cates is really good at horror. Like I'm not sure if you guys read fuck, what's the Harry Potter ripoff book that he did? Or like it's basically Harry Potter if he like he like just shot Voldemort in the face and got kicked out of Hogwarts, and then he becomes like a super villain. Um, oh damn it, I can't think of the name of that comic. It was one of my favorite comics for like, the longest time. Um, I feel like that qualifies Donny Cates to write Spider-Man. Donny Cates, Donny Cates is such a fucking great writer. Um, I I don't know why Marvel hasn't offered Amazing Spider-Man to Donny Cates. Like I don't know why. I mean I know Donny Cates had like an accident, like a while ago at some point in time. So I'm sure they were just having like trouble, like being, let alone writing. But I think Donny Cates is back to writing now, so I wouldn't mind seeing Donny Cates do Spider-Man. Um, I love Jeff Johns, but DC should have cut that cord a long time ago since he was already doing stuff for them. Um, hmm? Hmm. I missed something, but I do agree. Just in general, DC should have cut that cord a long time ago with Jeff Johns. Um, Nestor says, look, can we all pretend that Marvel stopped publishing stuff when JLN just came out and everything after that? It's just a bunch of fanfics. Um, I'll raise you one better. I think everything after, like as far as I'm concerned, the Marvel universe ends after Infinity Gauntlet. Just no more Marvel. Infinity Gauntlet happens. All right, cool. Anyways, here is Earth X. Earth X, and then the Marvel universe is over. Goodbye. So long. Thanks for all the fish. Um, Supreme says, I'm on to reading One Piece since it's finishing by 2025. Is it ever gonna finish? I don't think. I think the sun will explode before One Piece finishes. I highly doubt that book's going anywhere. Um, good night, Tevya. Um, Spider-Man channels on YouTube quote, Electro sucks. Spider-Man readers, did you actually read the comics? um, well, I mean, they're not wrong. Electro does kind of suck. Like Electro does not have a character. I don't know. You're still just calling me out, man. I don't know. Like they're kind of right. Like Electro does suck. He does. He's a cool visual, but that's it. Um, Jontai says a Daily Planet show or movie in the guise of an HBO newsroom, like 2015 movie Spotlight would be great. I think that would be a really cool idea. Have like maybe Greg Rucka write a bunch of episodes. Fucking boom. That'd be gold. Eric from Dude says the X-Men, the most evolved team in comics. That sounds like something Eric would say. Fant Four Stick, Miller and Bendis's Ultimate Fantastic Four, but also does the same thing. Does its own thing at the same time. It's accurate. Any opinion on Mark Waid doing Justice League? Fucking finally. I guess I'll be able to actually like read and give a shit about the Justice League now. New Spidey fans. MJ sucks in the current comics. Veteran Spidey fans. Well, there's your first mistake. Reading current Spider-Man comics. Accurate. I think there have been no truer words said. Fox Studios quote: "The original Fantastic cut is too much dark and gritty reboot and grounded adaptation. Can't release it, even if you said you could make it in the first place." Yeah, that sounds like a counterintuitive studio decision. What should be done with Norman at this point? Oh, Norman Osborn? Well, he should be dead. Norman Osborn should be dead. And that's it. Yeah, fucking kill him. Why is he still alive? I don't know. Alright. Did I see the leaked Fantastic Four trailer? I did. It looks kind of... It looks cool. I am curious to know as to how they got any footage when the film hadn't started shooting until like 2 days ago. That's, I don't know. Maybe I guess they were already filming, but all right. Punisher's anchored to Vietnam too. So, if you were the next writer after Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man, what would you do? You can't bring the marriage with MJ back again. I have an idea and I have a pitch, but I will save that for a Marvel editor, I guess. If that ever happens. Hopefully it happens. Knock on wood. We're gonna say that happens. We're gonna manifest it. MCU fans in comic book cast too. OMG fan theory, said it in the 60s. You ever thought of making a video about what a post Secret Wars MCU timeline would look like? No, but I can only imagine that it would literally just like now that Disney owns like most of it, I think Secret Wars is probably just going to end with like a soft reboot of the universe. So they're going to recast characters who, like, the actors are just not willing to come back for another 15 years worth of storytelling. And it's probably going to like, it will probably open with like Spider-Man waking up and he sees on the news that like, you know, there's CNN is covering tensions in Latveria, and then the Fantastic Four are doing outreach with the Avengers for the crisis in Symkaria, and then what was that strange black hole in the sky that we all saw? The world will never know. I think it's gonna be like that, and then it's gonna be like Spider-Man swinging into like a new established Marvel universe, that's like soft rebooted so that everything happened, and like the X-Men are there too. Like I think that's what's gonna happen with Battle World. It's gonna collapse because, oh god, I didn't even talk about fucking Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Doom. Oh, that's such a stupid fucking decision. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I know why they did that, but it's just fucking dumb. But yeah, that's gonna be the Doctor Doom of the MCU, I guess. Whatever. Fuck, man. Fuck. Damn. Since the 2000s, people can read comics for free. Exactly. That's why I always sort of say there's no excuse for not wanting to jump in anywhere. Pir- Piracy's there, man. You know, it is an effective tool. We need it. Nowadays, how do you feel about the Mandarin plot twist in Iron Man? It's one of those things where I feel like, from a narrative perspective, it is a really good twist. Because I like the commentary surrounding it. The problem is the movie, like the Mandarin that movie sold, was also like really terrifying and really interesting and really cool. And the promise of that was really dope. And it sucks that we didn't actually get that. So I don't know. But just as a film, I think the plot twist works really well. But 1610 says Earth 616 Iron Man fans versus MCU Iron Man fans when screaming at the air about B-list character with an overrated actor that Gen X likes is not an option. How's Earth X ending? Oh, just I guess watch my video. You know, it's the end of the Marvel universe. You know, like everyone becomes an Inhuman after a while. Everyone's old and sad. Yeah, it's the ending of the Marvel universe, man. I guess it's more so the end of Jack Kirby's Marvel universe. But I tend to look at it as like, yeah, everything from like the 60s up through, or I guess really everything from the 40s up through the 90s, or I guess the late 80s into the early 90s happens. And then like 30 years after that, in universe, Earth X happens. John Ty says, whenever writers try to make Superman cool, they kind of overcompensate and just have him fight someone super strong. Yeah. I agree, they do need to write like Golden Age style plot points again. Electro does have a character and story in the 616. In the late 90s, Electro Reborn story literally goes through his childhood and adulthood and why he's a villain. Well, I haven't read that. I haven't read it. So as far as I'm concerned, Electro fucking sucks. I'll get to it eventually though. Emphasis on eventually. Like in my Spider-Man reread, I just finished the Essential Collection of Volume 2 of Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm gonna be on I'm like in the middle of Volume 3 right now. So at this rate, I'm probably gonna get to like the 80s soon. And I've read most of the 80s stuff already, so like, you know, 80s into the 90s. And I read all of Clone Saga, unfortunately. So if it's like after Clone Saga, like that John Byrne era, I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. It's gonna be a while, but I'll get there. Scream says, hot take, Kamala will never become the next generation Spider-Man. She needs an iconic, beloved story in the vein of The Death of Gwen Stacy and Kraven's Last Hunt. I don't even think that's necessarily the case, too. I think the problem with Kamala is just she got popular way too fast, way too soon, in an era when it was probably not good for a Marvel character to get popular. The thing that works with Spider-Man is that for 50 issues, that is just steady character development. No big events, no big nothing, none of that bullshit. It is just banger after banger after banger after banger. The Amazing Fantasy 15, solid. The Amazing Spider-Man #1, the Chameleon, Amazing Spider-Man #2. I can't remember who the villain of issue 2 was, but like the first like 20 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, you get Chameleon, you get Kraven the Hunter, you get Electro, you get the Lizard, you get the Vulture, you get Doc Ock, you get the Sinister Six and Amazing Annual #1. All the iconic characters are sort of like they're there at the beginning. And Peter Parker has like a solid foundation, and a solid like 50 issue character arc that leads up to like again issue 50, where I think the place that Peter starts in Amazing Spider-Man #1 kind of like sees a conclusion in Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. So I don't know. Kamala just didn't have that. Kamala was victim to just being popular, and she didn't really get that necessary growth. She didn't get that development, and that's unfortunate. That's why she just won't be the new Spider-Man. Give Robert Downey Jr. Down syndrome. Man. Gave me Robert fucking alright. Robert Downey Doomer news gave me Robert Downey syndrome in the brain. Oh, nigga. Why do you like Identity Crisis? Because it fucks hard. That's why. It just fucks hard. I love it. It's like Venture Brothers. I like Identity Crisis for the same reason I love Venture Brothers. It's saying that like all that like silly goofy shit happened and it was silly and goofy, but also like the dark shit was also happening too. But we just don't think about it or talk about it as being dark because we like to look at the past with like rose tinted glasses. No, I love it. I think it's great. Yeah. What is another Batman love interest that you like besides Catwoman and Talia al Ghul? Silver St. Cloud, aka the most emotionally mature love interest that Bruce Wayne's ever had. I mean, the bar's not that high, but still. Do you think Infinity War holds up? Better than Endgame. Man, if we got a Golden Age Superman show like in Cape Crusader, that would be a lot. There'd be a lot of grifters saying Superman went woke. Dude, there are people calling Cape Crusader woke, and I just watched the first episode of that, and it's literally just a Batman the Animated Series show. It's literally just more Batman the Animated Series. They made the Penguin a woman, so Jim Gordon is black. Okay, what about Jeffrey Dean Morgan? He's also black, and he plays a really good Jim Gordon. I don't know. A lot of the grifter shit is just fucking. It's just like too stupid to even like give it any thought. for me. I don't know. I would like to see a Golden Age Superman show in the style of Cape Crusader. That would be awesome. I would fuck with that so heavy. What decision would you make to elevate the Teen Titans to keep them at the Justice League level? Kill them and then replace them with better versions of themselves. I don't know. I have no idea how to fix the Teen Titans. You know what? First of all, maybe stop with like the brand synergy. Stop trying to chase the high of like 2003 with the Teen Titans and just move the fuck on from there. That's a good starting place, I guess. Do you sometimes agree with the villains more? Yeah, if they're Paul Atreides, then fuck yeah. Remember the 2003 Mystique run with Mystique? It's a fun spy book with Mystique. Okay, that's cool. Damn, I'm fucking up. I'm tired. All right, how about this, guys? Well, clearly we have streaming capabilities now. So I'm gonna try this again on Wednesday, and hopefully we can resume. Let's Talk Comics on Wednesday, because I've been wanting to do that for a while. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys, and holy shit, we hit 1K. That's still fucking crazy to me. But thank you very much. I'm very appreciative of you guys. And we're gonna pretend like this is tequila because you can't tell the difference. So thanks. Here's to you. And here's to 1,000 more. Anyways, fuck it. If you wanna keep chatting, you know, we can hang out in the Discord. You know, I actually have that set up now. So yeah, jump in the Discord. I got the link in the description of the stream, and hopefully I'll see you guys over there too. And let's see, when is the Ultimates 2 review coming out? It's coming. Actually, that is the next video. Yeah, I'm actually probably gonna put I'll put the Action Comics, the Grant Morrison Action Comics video on retainer. I'll just do the Ultimates 2 video, because that's like the script for that is already done. I already have like gameplay captured that I need. So yeah, fuck it, let's do Ultimates 2. All right, I'll see you in the Ultimates 2 video. All right, see you guys later. Thanks for 1K. That was stupid. All right, well, whatever. Bye.